And still, let me get this up. All right, so it looks like we're live after we've been gone for about a week, right, Dalan? I took a trip and came back, and I was like, I don't know, a lot of things. I was sickly.
You were sickly? I didn't even know you were sick.
I was sickly. I got a cold. I went to New York, I guess, and you know, in New York, if you ever been, Dalan, it rains on you like unexpectedly, and yeah, I mean, we did have ponchos to kind of keep.
You make it sound like Florida.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to Florida. Maybe it is like Florida. I don't know. But it's definitely one of those things where we carried ponchos around. So we were like, all right, we got to be ready. But I think I got sick. And it was one of those delayed ones where I came back and then I was sick. But you know, it's good to be back. And it's
all right.
It's already, we're starting off with E3 week for Salient Points. Now, we were going to do 2 of them. So we might actually stop this broadcast and to get the separate one going, just to have two separate podcasts. But yeah, it's E3 for Salient Points, and we still haven't figured out what days we're gonna record, right, Dalan? But maybe we're gonna do 2 more during the week for whatever else comes out. I know Nintendo's next tomorrow, and then the Sony thing should be good tomorrow, and then whatever else pops up during the course of the week. But yeah, so this is Salient Points with Carlos Macias. Thanks for joining us, and as always, I have my co-host.
Coach, I will coach you through this whole thing.
I didn't even say coach, man. I said something else that was not coach. Don't be hearing the wrong things.
Hey, we'll go back and listen to the recording very early in the thing. I want to hear you say coach.
My co-host. I said coach or something. Did I say coach? You know what? I regret that decision and I take it back. How about that? I did not.
You can't take it back. It's already been said. It's on record.
No, man, I take it back. I take it back 100%. But anyway, so we're doing it a little different. Usually we're I guess you could say we're a little exclusionary. We do our top 10 and then we weigh them. And then there's things we don't talk about because it didn't make our weighted list. But this time around, we did a top 10 of any games that were announced. And we're basically going to talk about all of them. But this is going to be in order of hype, like I like to call it. So the first game on our list.
It would be hype for us.
Yeah, it would be hype for us. And the first game on this list, which this is from Saturday or the last week, and also the EA press conference that happened Saturday, which, man, every year it's a day earlier. At this point, E3 is going to be like a 2, 3, 4 week affair, man, at this point. But anyways, with 16 points, which means like hype level, we got the Tetris Effect, which is that new, who's the guy from Rez? What's his name? You know his name, Dylan. What's the guy's name? But
I do not remember his name.
I just want to get it right. So here you go, Tetsuya Mizuguchi. All right, so this is the guy.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So it's that guy that made Rez and Lumines, and I know I got you into Lumines a little bit, but
yeah, I did enjoy that.
That Tetris Effect looks kind of awesome, man. I was looking at it, and I don't know if you guys saw the image that was going around the internet, but where it shows the Game Boy Tetris and how it's like a primitive mind, and then you're expanding your mind with what was the other one? Tetris DS? Or no, there was another one before that, right? There was a Game Boy one, there's another one, then there's a Tetris DS, and then it gets to the Tetris. Oh, Puyo Tetris, and then it gets to Tetris Effect, and it's like you're very meditative. You've expanded your mind to its most infinite realm, I guess. But it looks pretty awesome, man. I guess you're hyped enough about it that it's high up here, right, Dalan?
Yes.
It's coming out later this year. I believe it was November 2018. So.
Man, I could not stop watching that trailer. Just the music alone got me into it. It was going to the beat, it looked beautiful, and it's coming out in VR. So I'm wondering what kind of things they're going to do with that. And when I think of Tetris being in VR, I suddenly think to myself, when are they going to put Puzzle League in VR?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and start flipping some blocks around.
Unfortunately, Dalan, Puzzle League, we love our Puzzle League, but I don't think the rest of the world feels the same way,
yeah,
man. I think, unfortunately, it's like one of those things that I know I introduced you to that one, too, and I'm at least glad.
You did not introduce me to Puzzle League, but...
I at least introduced you to the DS version that we played for hours on end, and we've actually taken road trips, and it's been an incredible multi-hour experience. So that's an incredible game, but I don't think we'll ever get that, man. The closest to that is like that whole mess that they were doing with the Meteos or some kind of nonsense that they were doing in DS. That's the closest you'll get to that version, but. Yeah, Tetris Effect looks kind of awesome, and I'm ready to experience it in VR. Have the headsets on, have the headphones, the headset, everything going. Just the world, it just coming at you, They didn't show too much though. They didn't show too much of
No,
it,
it
but
was a
it
small
should be
little,
pretty
like,
good.
it was like 2 minutes, and they just really talked about the effect that Tetris has had on people in the past. So, and from doing studies on people who have played Tetris, or even people that didn't play
Well,
Tetris.
understand they're
It's just
messing with you, right? They
yeah,
understand they're kind of messing with you with that intro. I mean, I think a lot of it is tongue in cheek and it's kind of like saying, it's like, this is the Tetris effect, but here it is. Here it is. We've actually
no,
manifested it. We
there,
materialized it.
no, there have actually been studies using Tetris.
I know that, Dan, but I'm saying for the purposes of the trailer, I feel like they're sort of messing with you, sort of like, yeah, there's been studies of the Tetris effect. Now this is materializing itself, which is like, who knows, man? I don't know. It's kind of like tongue in cheek. That's how I saw it. I don't know if you saw it like it was a very serious, like this is the extreme, or take us seriously when we kind of quote these researchers and all this stuff from the past. But it is a real thing, the Tetris effect, that you see all these blocks right in your dreams or when you're daydreaming or whatever.
Just before you go to bed or daydreaming after you play the game. It's one of those things that you're thinking about playing Tetris like for like a good hour or something like that. So,
yeah, I'm down, man. I'm down. What else? We got some more concrete details, right? The Kingdom Hearts 3 that's coming out. What did you tell me, Dan? You were texting me about it. I know the last trailer was saying that it was out in 2018.
So
right?
here was the thing: is that me and Carlos were talking about the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced to be released later in 2018, and I was saying I really hope it does come out in 2018. His response was, "Nah, it's not going to happen. It's going to get pushed back. Watch." Here it is getting pushed back.
I'm pretty sure that was on the record. It was on a podcast.
Yeah, it was on a podcast. I did say that. So it got pushed back to January 29th, 2019. So not too long after the next year, but enough into it where you could actually throw it back in my face. Thank you very much. But
you know what? That is a fair thing. I was actually thinking about it. Like, you know what? It wasn't like a big push. It wasn't like going into late 2019, but I was like, hey, I'll take my wins, man. I'll take my W. That I said it wasn't coming out in 2018. But yeah, what was cool about it?
Well, the two things that were cool about it,
a crappy little trailer, right? I don't know if you noticed it, but there was sort of like audio issues, kind of like there was long gaps of audio, and I think they even said it on whenever they introduced it. They're like, oh, this is a experimental trailer. This is not the final trailer or something like that. But it still looked cool though.
Hey, the fact is that they showed it and everybody was still excited. Even if it had no sound, I'm sure people would have been screaming about it either way. The fact is now it's going to be released on Xbox, which this is the first, excuse me, I cannot talk. This is the first Kingdom Hearts that's going to be released on an Xbox console. Then it also showed off the Frozen world of all the Frozen characters and how
in there too.
Well, I know Wreck-It Ralph was in the original trailers, but when they were showing it for the Xbox release, it was like mainly the Frozen world. So that was a big part of it. But fact being is that they have that specific release date now, and I know people are going to go out and pre-order it pretty much if they haven't already tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it looks cool, man. I'm ready. It's one of those things where we've talked about it before, where they kind of have to get out of Red Dead Redemption's way. So this is one of those another casualty of trying to get out of that kind of a blast radius. And they're like, you know what, let's push it a month. We'll be all right. And I think it's a perfect release too. I mean, other than, you know, I called it. It wasn't going to be released in 2018, but the fact that it's pushed out a month, it'll give it a little more chance to, it'll give it a chance to breathe, and people maybe pick it up. I mean, I would pick it up. It seems like it's really the only game, as far as we know, that's coming out during that time. So it's got Wreck-It Ralph. It's got the Frozen. It might be a little too Frozen, but I think it's one of the things that you just mentioned, that they're just focusing on Frozen. But you know, I don't know. I was reading online.
It was just for that trailer that they focused on Frozen. Their big focus was actually Monsters Inc. That was one of the bigger focuses.
Yeah, that was one of but I was reading online somewhere. Somebody was mentioning that he teams up with Elsa or whoever it is. But it might be one of those things where they were like, oh, well, for this trailer, he's teaming up, you know. But hopefully it's not the whole game where it's like it's just Frozenized or whatever you want to call it.
No. I doubt it.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's specifically for that world. I think that's what that is. There's just
I mean, and one of the things, it's going to be out on Xbox for the first time, which is, I guess, sort of a a big deal, right? But I would think it's like they've been working on it long enough, and they just have to get it going. And why not have an Xbox version, right, of it ready to go?
Well, I
It's
mean,
like,
they did move
okay,
to
we'll pick up
Nintendo
a couple more units.
They moved to phone at some point, but this is the first time Xbox has picked up any Kingdom Hearts. So.
Well, yeah, but this is the main. This is like the main game, right? This is the main game. The little side stories don't matter, man. They showed up on DS. They showed up on your phone. They showed up on your flip phone.
Precisely now matters.
It don't matter.
Right,
but yeah.
anyway,
so for one of the main entries in the series, then yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting point at this point. It's like, why is anything exclusive, right? But you know, if you're on PS4, you really don't need much more than that. I mean, when you're beating the Xbox 3-1, what more do you need? With 15 points, Dalan, with 15 points, we got Division 2. So that finally got a date released. It's coming out March 15, 2019, and it's set in DC. What do you think of the trailer? It looks pretty cool, man. It looks like a cleaner Division 1. It looks, I might mess with it.
They're probably still going to have the same same armor building issues of getting to level 30, and then you can just get all the gear that you need to actually be right there at max right away, especially if they keep that numbering system. Because I remember you were talking about how you jumped on Division 1 with us after a long time, and we just kind of shared our gear with you, and suddenly you jumped up to 256.
The whole trading system. Yeah, but I mean, based on what I saw the trailer, to be honest, I skipped around some of these trailers because they were long and I was busy over the weekend. But I did skip around the Division 2 one, and what I could see is they're still using that system, right? Like basically every game, even when we play H1Z1, right? Like we refer to Destiny when we're like, oh, get that common drop, get that exotic drop, and Division 2 does something similar where they kind of color code the different items you can pick up. So it looks like they're still going to continue with that.
Not similar. They use the exact same thing.
Well, no, but they had like don't they have like a turquoise, or they add like ultra uber exclusive stuff or whatever. But what I'm saying, it seems like it's sort of in that same vein as Division 1. It just looks much prettier, man. I don't know about you. Maybe it's just
it does actually look prettier. They had better water physics. They had all kinds of crazy weapons that you can see them using their little drops and the grenades that they were throwing, because there was that whole mine seeking thing where it shot up in the air and then went after one of the heavy bosses. There was just at the very beginning, as they started off, man, I thought they were actually in a rainforest. I had no idea they were in that museum.
Yeah, it looks kind of sort of a little Last of Us-ish. I don't know if you remember how they were. It was what do they call it? They call it like lived in something. They were using it for Gears of War, where it's kind of like a destroyed beauty or something like that, where it's overgrown. It's nobody lives there anymore, but it's kind of beautiful in its destruction, that kind of thing. So I think they're going in the right direction. I mean, one of the funniest things in the video and the gameplay trailer is that do we ever talk like that? Do we ever talk like, I'm gonna go check this out? Bravo team, go here, go there. It's like, no,
we're just talking crap. You know it's 24/7. You know it's scripted.
Yeah, we're just talking nonsense 24/7, man. So it's always funny to me when I see it in the trailer. It's not specific to Division 2, but it's always funny when I see it on these press conferences where it's like, who talks like this? We definitely don't talk like this.
The first time I heard that, like specifically, and it really threw me off, was Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah,
they did that in their trailer, and I was like, wow, no one talks like that. You can tell how fake it is as it goes. But anyways, I'm still gonna pick up Division 2 just so I could, 1, stay up to date, 2, enjoy myself with it because I know friends are gonna buy it, and 3, have something else to do.
Good job, Dalan. I mean, it is out March 15th, so that's 2 days after my birthday. So I'll take that as a possible birthday gift. Now it's kind of interesting that it's kind of interesting that it's coming out March 15th, because actually Anthem also has a date, which is the next one up with 15 points. That's actually out a month. What? Did you have anything else to say about Division 2? Or?
No, but I'm supposed to be introduced. Don't take my introduction.
Oh,
man.
We don't got like all this information. I know I put it down, so we have a rundown. In case you guys don't know, we have a rundown, and we each introduce it or whatever. But we're just going, man. We're running through this.
All right, fine. You can jump into Anthem.
Anthem with 15 points, and it's actually coming out a month before Division 2, which now that we've seen a little more of both of the games, I gotta be honest, man. As far as Anthem's concerned, and until February 22nd, I don't know. It's pretty good. It's basically Iron Man. It's very Iron Man, the game or whatever. And then you're running around in these kind of heavy looking mech suits. And you're supposed to be playing co-op, but it's not going to have PvP at launch. They're talking about all these other different things that they need to catch up on. So a lot of post-launch content. And it's kind of like,
okay,
I want to play it, but it looks a little
First off, even though it's co-op, it doesn't need PvP to actually be a good game.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you don't need PvP.
But it's one of those things that most games will have. You know, Destiny had it.
I know today. I know in today's world that, well, I'm not sure if they had the Crucible at launch, but I know you had to build up to actually get Crucible unlocked, and even then, you didn't need to play Crucible. You could just go do other stuff.
No, I mean, I get that, but
I know that you're talking about you want people to have the option. But you still don't need to actually have it to have a really good game, especially if you want your servers to run very smoothly. They're probably still working out the bugs for PvP, and that's fine, especially if the makers of Anthem haven't really dealt in online PvP too much. And I know they did one other thing, but I can't remember what it was. Right
well, it's BioWare. They've done plenty of things. How about that? They've done plenty.
Yeah, I know they've done plenty of things.
They've done Mass Effect. They did Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. You know, but one of the things that they're mentioning, it doesn't seem like it's going to be beat by beat. You're going to get a single player campaign. It seems like it's going to be one of those things where it's like you just happen to pick up a mission. So I think some of that, it looks a little worrying to me that we might not get that. You know, since BioWare is known for their stories, they're known for having these kind of great stories that expand on the Star Wars universe. Even Mass Effect was pretty good. I know Andromeda wasn't too incredible, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I'm still down to try it, of course, and mess with it, but it doesn't seem like how we always say, or how I always say, actually. I don't know if it's our next Destiny. I just don't know. I just don't know. But they are doing some cool things. They did mention some cool things. They're not gonna have any randomized loot boxes. Anything that they sell is gonna be cosmetics only. And so these are interesting things that at least won't mess with the balance of the game. But you know, some good things, some bad things, some like we'll see when we get closer to launch. We'll see when.
Well, other things that you can actually do is being in story basically by yourself, and being that you pretty much. I think the way that they're doing is that each person has their own world that they have, basically creating their own little server that people can join into, kind of like Grand Theft Auto, how you can make your own server instead of being out in the public. You just have your own server, and other people can join.
Did they show that? I didn't see anything like that. That you can make your own.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be like that.
But hold on, I get that, but where are you getting that from, Dalan? Did they say that in the trailer?
No, they did not say that in the trailer.
You're gonna be there, man. Destiny doesn't do that.
You're not listening to me. You gotta listen.
Where are you getting it?
I said it. Yeah, I said the way that they're building it, or the way they actually said these things, it made me think that they're probably gonna do something like this. All right,
you can assume millions of things. If they didn't say it, they're not gonna do it.
They did actually say that when you go back to base, it is your own hub. And when you go out into the world, yeah, you're going to see other players, but you can actually have friends that join you. So it does feel like that you can actually have your own environment that you can be playing in by yourself. Or at least that's probably what's going to end up happening most of the time. But hopefully we'll end up seeing more characters roam across and make friends of people that we actually see just running out in the forest and stuff like that.
Well, and all that, as long as you say that's what you think is going to happen, because I don't remember them saying anything like that. That's why I was like, and I was asking you because if that is what they're doing, then let me know. I was like, okay, that's an interesting little wrinkle on things. But if you're over here making stuff up, then it's kind of like, well, yeah, I want to know some facts.
I'm making an observation, so calm down.
Well, no, it's your opinion and it's a hope. It's nothing based on reality. But anyways, Anthem, it looks like we're probably gonna mess with it, right? Based on the trailer, based on what you saw, the gameplay reveal, what are you gonna pick it up day one? Or
yeah, I am gonna. Well, I'm gonna pick it up. I don't know if it's gonna be day one, just because I don't know what's gonna happen between now and December. That being is that my plan is to pick it up day one. So.
All right, so you're pumped for it. You're pumped for it day one. Yeah, I mean,
I'm ready.
You know
I've been ready.
And you know. You know what? I'm really easy. I'm really easy with that's concerned. Like if you're gonna play it or some some of the other people we're playing online with are getting it, I'm like, all right, I'm in. I don't know what else you want me to do. If it's co-op, it's down. I'm
It's
down,
co-op.
and it'll either be something like Monster Hunter or Division where I might only play a few weeks and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not down, but I'll try it for a little while. So we'll see what happens with Anthem, or like I like to call it Iron Man the game. We'll see what happens. Even the trailer, man. I don't know if you saw the beginning of it, right? Isn't he going like into a cave and it's like, here, I got a suit for you, and then he goes into the suit like some straight up Iron Man stuff.
No, you can only see. You can only change your suit at the hub. So
All right. But
actually,
it's very. I mean, you could have gotten a sense of that even before they showed any more, but
yeah,
it really cements it that it's basically Iron Man the game co-op / Destiny / you even shoot little rockets out of your a la Iron Man. So the
well,
next thing we
I
get,
mean, it is a metal suit. What else can you do with this thing? I mean, you are humans in a
well,
suit,
you're definitely not
period, fighting
you're,
monsters.
you're definitely not limber. It didn't seem like you were very like. It seems like it's gonna be some kind of hulking third person Gears of War-ish type of game where you could
No,
happen to fly around.
that was just the one gear
All
because you
right,
have your
all
four
right,
different classes that you're going to start out with.
all
The
right.
the roguelike one, I can't even think what that class was called right now. But that roguelike one looks like the hunter. It looked real nimble. Looked like you had all kinds of movement. But anyways, uh, so we're going with 11 points, right? Carlos, Carlos, you froze on me. You're totally frozen on my screen.
I think we're live again. Let me call Dalan. So I think I'm continuing the broadcast. So we're broadcasting right now. It sort of crashed a little bit.
All right. Well, do you want me to unpause my recording?
Or if you want, can you start another one? I guess start a separate file. You know what I mean?
Okay, I gotta save this one then. Hold up.
It just went back to broadcasting. Man, that's kind of terrible, actually. Never happened. I'll do 34.5 for this one. I'm just saving this one and then we'll get going again. But I know we're broadcasting, so I don't know if it stays in the same video or what happens, or I guess we'll find out. I'm just let me save this one real quick. Give it a minute. Yeah, you froze on my screen. And I was like, Dalan, I was like tapping. I was gonna tap to see if
now you have this look on your face, you're like, and you stopped. I was like, what?
What? This thing is taking longer than necessary to save. See, because if we stop the broadcast, we'd have to like redo the thing. So we're broadcasting. So whoever watches this after the fact, they'll be like, all right. Well, you can fast forward like a minute. and then we'll resume. If you only listen to the audio, you'll be fine, right? You'll be like, what happened? Something happened. What were we talking about when I cut off? I know we were talking about.
We were finishing our conversation about Anthem. So we can actually continue with the next set. So let me know when you're recording.
Yeah, I'm saving this thing over here right now, real quick, and then I'll start it. Do we do another clap? I don't know if we've ever done the clap thing that we do live. Do a little clap thing.
Why did you just go live? That's right, because you said we're continuing the recording that we were doing.
I'm resuming because otherwise I don't know how it works. Like I would have to create. I'd rather it just be in one file and people can see how we messed up and all that. It's fine.
Not we.
Well, I'll say we. Are we not in the same squad?
All right.
We not.
I'll take a hit for the team. It was unnecessary.
You'll take it. You didn't need to. All right, hold on. Okay, so I'll get.
Well, let me put it on the record. I don't.
I'm recording. I'm recording on my end. You got your Audacity going?
All right, I'm recording.
All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, it should be good enough. Yeah, so we're coming back from technical difficulties. Hopefully, we don't got to deal with that again. But we'll find out. We'll find out, I guess. No promises.
All right.
Anything else to finish that up, Dale, before we move on?
No, I just think the best part about it is that there's no loot boxes. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next set at 11 points. So being that we were going to talk about another game that was in the trailers for E3 being Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, coming out late 2019. I don't think they actually gave a date. But it's supposed to be set between episodes 3 and episode 4 because they wanted to actually really dive into the Clone Wars during that period of time and the Dark Era of the Jedi. So that's good.
They called it the dark times or whatever.
The dark times because the Jedi Order had just fallen, so it was just chaos. The
thing with that announcement, they didn't show a trailer. They didn't show like anything. They didn't show anything, man. They basically took the camera and they put Vincent Pella off on the side of where the stage is, and they asked him about it. So you guys are working on a game, right? And if you guys know, the Respawn guys are the guys who made Titanfall. So it's the Titanfall guys making a Star Wars Jedi game. But based on what he was saying, it seemed like it's going to be maybe sort of a third-person action game, man. It doesn't seem like, and they are a third-person, first-person shooter type of company or whatever. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a good or bad game, man. I don't know. They just haven't done this before, but he did say there was going to be lightsabers and how you were mentioning it's during the dark times during episode 3 and 4. So hopefully it's good.
So I'm just actually just waiting for it. And in reality, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna pick it up.
Well,
Because
we don't have anything, right? There's
no,
no screens, there's
it's not
no
even
video,
that.
there's no
It's
nothing.
not even that. It's not even that. It's the fact that I do enjoy Star Wars, but it's like me and zombies. I'm starting to have that fatigue of seeing it all the time. It's everywhere.
I mean, Disney's got to
It
make
was,
their money back, man.
yeah,
They
I
got to make
know.
their
It
investment
was
back.
better when
It's there.
it was still better when it was exclusive. So now they're really just dishing it out and trying to milk it for everything it's worth. I mean, yes, making their money back is a very important aspect, but I'm sure they did that already with the first two movies that they dropped.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of maybe miss that you used to get little morsels of it, right? Now it's kind of
Yeah.
like every year, and even with the solo movie. I mean, the solo movie came out about a month ago, and episode 8 was what 6 months prior to that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're kind of getting it back to back, and you start to lose interest. But
It
I
took
don't know.
15 or 20 years to get the second trilogy.
I mean, but do you really want to wait 20 years between the movies? You know, I think that it's one of those things that I don't think people think about too much. It's like, well, I mean, is it that bad to keep getting Star Wars? I mean, yeah, it's not necessarily the highest quality, or maybe it's not what people want exactly. I know that really happened with 8, and I'm pretty sure that hurt Han Solo's sales. The fact that they saw 8, it was like, I'm not watching this anymore. So we'll see what happens with the next one, right? But I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. It is Respawn's maybe first third-person action game, and I'm down to try it out. They really haven't shown much whether we can, for us to figure out if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So we got to see a little bit more. Well, I'm sure we'll see something else in the coming months or next E3. But this thing's out. It's far out, man. Late 2019.
It's far out, so we're not even worried about it.
Yeah, at least we got that. But I'm kind of Jedi Fallen Order. We'll see. I'm down. I'm down to check it out.
Right,
next up, and sort of Star Wars related, but not really, is with 10 points is Beat Saber. It's gonna come out on PlayStation VR, and I believe it's already out on PCs. But it's kind of like a rhythm action game. And you said not at all, Dalan. But what do you call lightsaber things that you're actually like?
No, I mean, like
right,
it's not related to. It's not related to Star Wars at all, though. That's what I meant. It's like I don't even feel Star Wars, and I probably feel more Tronish in this.
Yeah, but does Tron have lightsabers? Is what I'm saying. I mean, it is sort of. I understand.
It has light swords. It has light swords.
But yeah, but when you say lightsabers, you're thinking Star Wars, man. You don't think anything else. You don't think Tron when you say lightsabers. So
hey, these are
the game is called Beat Saber. Yeah, whatever, man. It's sort of in the vein of Star Wars, but it looks kind of cool, man. It looks like a cool little game. It looks like one of those. I know we played Speed Vector. What was the Sprint Vector? It's sort of probably in that vein where you're gonna pull off the headset, the VR headset, and you're gonna be really sweaty under there, and it's gonna be gross. It's gonna be nasty. And
people are doing what I saw. I saw people in there like spinning around and stuff, doing some crazy stuff, trying to play that game. So if they're trying to do all that the same way that they do on the PC, then yeah, they're gonna come out sweating. They're gonna get themselves
for Beat Saber.
Yeah, for Beat Saber. I saw. Yeah, for Beat Saber, I saw people doing Through the Fire and Flames. They were doing that song, and people were doing some crazy movements in there. Another guy was doing I think it was a Star Wars song, but I can't remember what it was. Anyways, fact being is that they were making some crazy movements when trying to do it. I saw people spinning around, jumping up and down, ducking. So you definitely want to be standing up when you're playing this game, regardless, especially if they have it playing the same way.
It'll be me and my daughter will definitely mess with this Beat Saber game. We'll have some fun with it. It didn't look like they had any licensed music though, right? So it's kind of one of those things where it's like we're just gonna have to listen to whatever is there, right? But it looks fun. It looks good. I'll probably pick it up. Hopefully we can get it for free. If anybody wants to
if they keep updating it the way of Rock Band, we might get a lot of music.
Yeah, but Rock Band has licensing agreements in place, and that's their whole thing, and they got name recognition. This is something called Beat Saber. Dylan, it's Star Wars and lightsabers set to a beat, man. I don't know how much authentic licensed music, but I hope they do. But I don't think that's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen that way.
Well, so we got a little bit of more of a taste of Battlefield 5 that's coming in at 8 points. And guess what? I remember we were I don't know if we were talking about it, but they did mention it before that it wasn't going to include Battle Royale. And guess what, Dalan? Battle
They
Royale is
mentioned
coming to
Battle Royale.
Battlefield 5 post-launch. It's coming. So anybody that thinks that Battle Royale, yes, it's sort of a fad and it's gonna go away in time, but even Battlefield 5
now,
is
it's
gonna
too
have
fresh.
yeah, it's gonna have it.
It's
It'll
gonna be here
right.
for a couple of years at least.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer? What'd you think of the new trailer they showed? They didn't show too much, but they showed some of the feel that they're gonna do sort of the same story things with Battlefield 1, where it looked like there was
that
a
lady was
snow
crazy.
level.
She threw that kid off she threw that kid off the side. I was like, no. But
Yeah.
yeah, you get the feels with this one. You'll get the feels.
It looks good, man. I'm ready for another Battlefield 5, especially this year. We're not getting a single player campaign with Call of Duty, so at least one of these kind of tentpole shooters will have some kind of story. So I'm looking forward to Battlefield 5 to at least, even though it's not a full campaign that you follow the same person, you get the little vignettes of stories. I'm down, man. I'm down for it.
Okay, I'd like to stop and say you called it a tentpole shooter and vignettes.
Oh yeah, there was a story vignettes, and it's yes, it's a tentpole shooter. That's
yeah, I know.
It just means it's one of the pillars, man.
I know what it means.
Why are you so confused? Why I
wasn't confused. I just wanted to centralize the fact that you said it, anyways.
I mean, these words are used, Dalan. I don't understand. It's so confusing. Words are used, and they're actually words that are used for this, you know. And I can explain them all day if you want, or I can say the word of the day. Word of the day is this. Okay, I can Bill O'Reilly you right now. Like, word of the day. The word of the day. You probably want to introduce anything else on Battlefield 5, Dalan, before we move on to your favorite.
Fact being is for Battlefield 5, I do want to actually play the story because I couldn't actually finish the story for Battlefield 4, though I'm sure it was a great story and people talked about it all the time, but I'd rather play Battlefield 5. So are you excited to actually play through the story of Battlefield 5, though?
What? I just talked about it.
Yeah, I know you talked about the fact
it's
that
one of the tentpole shooters, and it's including story. So yes, I'm down, man. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to check it out. And even for Battlefield 1, it wasn't that long. You could get through all the little vignettes within another word of the day. You can get through them within like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but it was good fun, man. I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna check out 5 for sure. And I'll check out this Battle Royale. There's non-existent Battle Royale that apparently is gonna be existent at some point.
At some point, but not yet. All right, but fine. I'll move on to the next one for you. Being that I wanted to bring up Dead or Alive 6 here at 7 points. Being that it's going to be coming out early 2019. It's going to be coming out on the PS4, Xbox, and PC. And I saw the gameplay for it as they were actually talking about it with the creators with IGN, and I was staring at it. Of course, they were talking about the fact that Kasumi had a very functional costume this time, and I was looking at Hitomi and Helena. There you go. I was seeing the way that they were actually moving, and we all know that Dead or Alive, or at least the first couple of games, was very female-centric for all the people who wanted to play this game, because they didn't play it just for the fighting, though the fighting was definitely great and kept people there. People also played it to just look at the girls and watch.
Not better than Virtual Fighter. Not better than Virtual Fighter, but good.
It was still a completely different type of thing when it came to Dead or Alive and their jiggle physics. People, that's what they called it for a long time. They stayed.
I know that, but it, I did look at the trailer. And it looked good, man. It looks good. It looks good.
The jiggle physics were gone.
I thought they were trying to move past that. Or are you saying they're trying to be more respectful?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to be more respectful. They removed the jiggle physics.
They have more functional wardrobe, which is what you're referring to, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They took out the scandalous suits. They took out the jiggle physics. They put more into the actual fighting aspect of it. So it's more like a fighting game than it is a simulator of watching women.
It was definitely a showcase of something, right? And it kind of moved on from there. But you know what? Yeah, I was looking at the trailer, man. That thing looks good, man. Dead or Alive 6 looks like it's gonna be good fun. And it's coming out early next year, right? It's gonna drop somewhere in February, March, I'm sure. Like all these other games. I'm thinking to myself,
how are they gonna make another story? It's like trying to make another Tekken. At some point, you're like, what can they do next that they have not already done?
Dalan, another story. It's a fighting game, man. They're just gonna slap something together and it's fine. It's a fighting game. What more do you want?
Hey, man,
know you
people actually enjoy the lore of these games, Carlos.
Yes, I know you care about the lore, dude, but it doesn't matter, man. They slapped all this stuff together. Even if you go back to Street Fighter or whatever, it's like, yeah, we want a Japanese guy, we want an American guy. All right, fine. Let's just slap it together.
If Ryu was suddenly Chinese, people would flip their lids.
Yeah, whatever, man. It's fine. Dead or Alive 6, as long as the mechanics are good, and sure, Dalan, if you know, if they don't want it to be a showcase of something, I respect them on that point. But you know, as long as the fighting is good, and it's always been a fast type of fighting game, sort of dial a combo, not to the extreme like Tekken, I don't feel, but it was a pretty good game, and based on the trailer, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna pick it up, right? And we're gonna mess
well, I didn't actually pick up Last Round, which they called it Last Round, but you know, I might pick it up, especially if it definitely gets good enough and enough people are interested in it, because I don't want to pick up a game and have it sitting in my console and me playing by myself all the time. So
all right,
it's just not the same.
I got you. So the next one with 5 points, and with 5 points, it's Unravel 2. That one's actually $20. It's already out. And they added co-op to it. I don't know if you played the original Unravel. It's with the little yarny character, sort of made out of yarn. I played a few levels of it. I played a few levels of the original, and I was like, nah, man, I'm good.
Nah, this ain't me.
but now, I don't know. Unravel 2 doesn't look so bad, actually. Now that it has co-op, I guess I can...
That's the other part that really gets you going for it. You're like, ooh, co-op. Let me play this with somebody else.
Hey, so man, co-op everything, and Battle Royale everything, we're good. We're good. And Unravel 2, it looks all right. It looks all right. I might mess with it, you know. We'll see what the reviews say. I know they kind of dropped it all of a sudden. Anytime they drop all these sudden announcements, it's like they want to get people on the hype. They don't want the reviews to come out. So we'll see. We'll see what's good with Unravel, man, the next few days. It's sort of a good thing and a bad thing when you release something during the week of E3, because it can kind of cannibalize yourselves, man. If people are so focused in E3, they're like, oh, I forgot that even came out. So we'll see what happens. Are you excited? Are you gonna pick it up? Are you pumped for Unravel 2?
I'm happy for that company. I'm not as excited as other people are now. I mean, I guess I could pick it up at some point.
It's just another cute.
I could wait.
It's just another cute little platformer that's not gonna change your life, but
man,
fine.
We're just flooded with so many platformers right now. I just gotta kind of pick and choose. I'm more stuck on Bloodstained right now. I'll go back and play that game like multiple times.
Yeah. So next with 4 points, and I decided to throw this in here just to. It's kind of interesting to me that EA just hasn't given up on it, because they probably should have a long time ago. But with 4 points is NBA Live 2019, which, if you guys know, the main competitor, just real quick, because I know you don't care about this, Dalan, but just real quick, you know, NBA 2K is kind of the king of the court, and they've been dominating. And NBA Live, they had like 3 or 4 years where they didn't even release a game, or it was coming out, and then they canceled it at the last moment. So based on what I see from the trailer, I mean, it looks okay. It looks like they're trying with the one mode is sort of their little campaign mode. So, I mean, EA, keep at it, man. I mean, if there's competition, the games get better. I mean, as we've seen with Madden, there's no competition, and it kind of stays stale. So it's just one of those little shout outs to me for NBA Live that's like, hey, EA, good on you. Good on you.
Well, it's more so that there's just not too many competitors. So I'm sure if they do release this game, which, well, okay, I can't say if. When they release this game, I'm sure it's still going to get, when they release it, I'm sure it's going to get plenty of money. But as to whether or not they'll continue the series, I'm sure that they'll make it. And if it makes a lot of money, they'll make one next year. If it doesn't make a lot of money, they'll wait a couple of years again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. People are just so into 2K that it's kind of difficult, which kind of sucks, man. When you think about the sports games, that you would think there's be enough of an audience. But for example, MLB, they just got MLB The Show, and then NBA 2K, and then FIFA kind of owns it, and then there's only Madden that there's of the sports. So there's really only one game per sport, which you would think there'd be more competition, because in the 90s, you saw everything, man. You saw Ken Griffey, strikeout, or whatever you call that. Then you got NFL Quarterback Club. You saw everything, and
Game Day. Don't forget about Game Day.
Yeah, so there was Game Day. There was all kinds of different games. Now it's kind of settled into one game per sport. So we'll see. We'll wish for the best, and we'll see what they do with this thing this year. It'll just be Cavs versus Warriors again, and the Cavs will get swept.
Calm down. Yeah, I know you love your basketball, but let's talk about our 2-pointer.
All right, so what's going on with the next one, Dalan? I didn't see too much of this one, but you
no, they really just had a trailer for it. It's called Sea of Solitude. It was more about it was definitely an action adventure thing, but it also tells the story of a little girl who's really struggling with loneliness and being secluded, and especially even in the middle of school, being a loner and things like that. So it looked kind of like a mind bend.
Who is it made by? Do you know who it's made by? It's not by the Life is Strange guys, right? It's someone else.
No, it's somebody else. I know that much. But I'm just gonna say it's made by EA.
Yeah, it was part of their presentation. Well, EA does these things, right? Like the Yarny one or the Unraveled, and they have all these kind of cool initiatives, if you want to call them, where they're like, look, we want to focus on games that would never really get made, right? But they have sort of a mission. I think they call them like a mission game or like a statement game where it's like we want to bring a spotlight to these different topics, right? Like you said, this one is about a girl trying to escape her loneliness or whatever it is,
Yeah.
But so it's good. It's good. It's good that EA does it.
It's by somebody named Golden Cage. I don't know.
All right. Anything else on that one, Dalan?
For that one, no. Actually, one thing I will actually say about it is, even though it's one of those smaller titles, it actually looks really beautiful. The art style itself actually kind of reminded me of Journey, but in a bigger expanse, because a lot of it looks like it takes place in a sunken city, or at least a half-sunken city. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting adventure game. So I hope enough people pick that up, because I want to see what this company continues to do.
And it's like what you're saying, right? EA is kind of like, well, it's not like EA at some point was the most hated company in the world or something like that. So it's kind of cool that they reverted back, and it's like, let's make something
EA
cool.
was the escargot of the world. That's
which is like, I'm pretty sure there's worse companies than EA, but people on the internet, they're just foolish like that, right? And they need to get.
I'm going to make my correction though. This was made by Joe May Games.
Okay. All right, there you go. You got it right. And the next one, this is basically like my +1, Dalan. Then we can move on to your last one for this for Electronic Arts in the last week, prior to
because it only got 1 point. Because it only got 1 point.
Yeah, with 1 point is Ghost Giant, which is a PSVR game. It looks like a cool little simple game. It's from the guys that made Fee. And it looks kind of like that Moss game that came out a couple months ago that I reviewed, which is on Monster Vine. It's very like sort of like a panorama type of game. It's a cutesy puzzle game where you're kind of solving these little different problems, and it's in a cutesy what do you call it? The Nintendo Animal Planet or whatever the game is, Animal Crossing. Sort of like the Animal Crossing type
like
of game.
Animal Crossing, and like Farmville.
And you see these hands that come out, and you're kind of solving little problems for the little townspeople. So it looks pretty cool, man. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but that looks kind of awesome. Just wanted to give that a shout out.
And I was just like, man, this little kid is freaking out at this gigantic monster, which is me, coming at him.
Yeah, it's coming at him strong. So one more, Dan, and then we'll move on. Then we're gonna actually do another podcast after this. But what's that last thing you want to mention?
Last thing we got, still at 1 point. I know that there were other things that were announced at E3 for the EA portion, but like we said, aims to actually try and go through. So we were just doing our favorites that we wanted to talk about. This one being Twin Mirror, which is one I want to talk about, for the creators that did Life is Strange. And I know you played more of Life is Strange, so I think you have a larger concept.
I did it for the trophies, and every time I play those games for the trophies, I was like, I'm not down. I don't know why. I don't know why I did it, man. This last one that came out, like episode 0 or whatever, it's like the prequel. I played through that whole thing. I didn't even look at the last cutscene. I just waited for the trophy to pop up, and I was like, I don't need this anymore. I ejected this. I was like, I don't need to know how it ends. You
chucked it against the wall and watched it explode.
Yeah, it was a game. It was a GameFly disc, so I took it out, and I was like, this is going back. I don't need to know the ending. I got my trophies. But continue, Dan. Please continue.
Okay, well, for Twin Mirror, it looked like a bit of a mind issue type thing, where a guy goes back to his hometown because I guess his brother passed, and That night, he passed out for some weird reason. Of course, the trailer doesn't give the actual cause of this, but he wakes up with no recollection of what he did the night before. His shirt is bloody. He doesn't know what happened. So he's trying to figure out what happened, and he's trying to actually solve this mystery of himself. It actually looks like it would be an interesting story. But as I was actually looking at this, I was thinking, for the people that did Life is Strange, and that we end up talking about later, being that I think these guys are on par with the new storytelling. Like, who are the people that did that Batman game? And
Telltale.
Walking Dead. Yeah, I think they're on par with Telltale. I think it's another form of the Telltale telling type style, being that they're going to tell a story, and you're just going to be in it. You're going to be in it to win it. But for Twin Mirror, are you going to play this game, especially if it has trophies?
I might mess with it if the trophies are easy enough, I guess. I didn't really see too much of it, to be honest, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe once it gets close. When is it supposed to come out?
They didn't even actually drop a date on it.
They didn't say. All right. It's one of those things, man. They'll probably hook me. I've platinum every one of those games, and every time I regret it because I'm like, I think part of it is the fact that it's a very like teen angsty drama type of thing. I don't know if Twin Mirrors is it the same thing or no? It's not a teenager.
No, it is not a teenager. He's an older male. Okay. He's an older male guy he drove back to his hometown. I guess to bury his brother.
Maybe I'm a little more convinced.
But it is saying it's coming out sometime in 2019, so I guess look out for it.
All right, so that was for Electronic Arts, basically the last week prior to E3. If you guys want to stick around, we're gonna end this broadcast, but we're gonna do another one after this for Microsoft and Bethesda. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm Carlos Macias, and on the other end, I have
Dalan Kirkwood, your co-host, or your coach. I'm your coach. I'm
no, you are not my coach. But thanks for hanging in there with all these technical issues, and we'll have figured it out hopefully. And we're gonna get on with the next one. Hopefully, you guys tune in for that too. Thanks for watching.